Hey folks, welcome to the show, episode 63, Sydney vs Carlton review. The first game of the 2026 season is over, folks, and we're into the new season. And also, we'll be talking about the other games individually. So we're going to start off with this game. We're going to give them about 10 minutes to 15 minutes apiece. Sort of quick so you can get through it and pick your side that you want to watch of their review. And then we'll talk about the next round preview. So that's how we're going to sort of do it for the format of the year, folks. And we'll add episodes in between that. So I'm going to start off with the scoreline of the game. Sydney kicked 20 goals and 12 behinds to equal 132 points. Carlton, 10 goals, 9, 69. Sydney will come out as the winners. We'll just talk about the goals first off as well. Charlie Curnow against his old side, bagged 3 goals, folks. McEnany, 3, Amadi, 3, Roberts, 2, Heaney, 2, Warner, Sheldrick, Rowbottom, Rosa, Papley, McDonald, Grundy, all single goals apiece. For Carlton's goal kickers, Pitnat with 3, Ainsworth 2, Moy, McKay, Kemp, Elijah Hollins, Hayward, all single goals apiece. Sydney's best, Goulden, McKinney, Heaney, Warner, Sarong, Roberts. Carlton's, Walsh, Lord, Smith, Pitnat. Injuries, none for Sydney. Carlton, Sard with a hamstring tightness and also 40,000 at the SCG, folks. For me, it was a game of two halves. Carlton started off pretty heavy. They come in swinging essentially, and they were pretty fired up. They kicked a few early goals, so Sydney only kicked 3 behinds for the first quarter to Carlton's 2 goals, 2. So a great start by the Blues. Everyone was into it. When you look at their goal scorers, Hayward got an early one as well against his old side. Kemp got one to get him going. Moy also. It looked, I think Pitnat sort of chipped in. He kicked a couple of these sort of quick snaps out of the ruck or within the contest, which was quite interesting for a big fella. Got him going, up and about. They were pretty good. So the halftime score, 2 goals, 6 for Sydney to Carlton's 4 goals, 4. So essentially sort of similar quarter for the second quarter. Sydney kicked a couple to get himself back in the game. Sydney looked a bit fumbly early on. I thought Carlton's pressure was really good. They come in, put their pressure on the ball user. We did say that the game, I thought personally, was going to be one for the big man for Sydney. So, Curnow started sort of slow. And then he come in and kicked the 3 goals that he kicked. And Curnow's second goal was the 12th of the third term. So they've essentially kicked 12 goals in a row, basically. And that's what kicked off, the third term. And that got him right into the game. I know Logan McDonald snagged a couple. Amadi as well. Amadi with the 3 goals. He just looked on form. Heaney looked slow. Had 8 touches, I think, at half time or something like that. Looked quite underdone. But then he got himself back in the game. Patrick Cripps just trying to carry the team. He did lose his cool in some stages, just frustration. I can understand the man, but as a leader, I thought he needed to just sort of more focus on the ball and get the boys around the ball. Needed to get back into the contest. They sort of... there was just spot fires everywhere with, a few clashes of players. Ollie Florent playing his old side. There's very heated sort of battles. Also Hayward. And look, Papley got himself going in the end. Jagger Smith played okay. Also got into the game for Carlton. Sam Walsh was probably arguably their best, I thought, carrying on his preseason form. So through the game, it was quite interesting. Dry Sarong in his new side was on fire throughout the game. Very early on, it was the early sort of player to get a lot of touches for Sydney. So, yeah, I was quite impressed by that. But arguably, the game was really just won between Sydney's big men. Amadi, Kernow, like, you're going to have to play these sides. You're going to have to play three-tool defenders. Like, I mean, a genuine three-tool defense. They're no different to the Crows. They're no different to Fremantle. Sydney are going to be a good team this year. There's no doubt about that. We said that in their pre-season form, that they were very good. That's why I tipped them. I wasn't too far off the margin as well, to be fair. Look, don't be disappointed, Carlton fans. I thought they gave it a red-hot crack. Their first half was really good. I thought Ainsworth slotted in nicely. Hayward's flowing. Pitnat's in pretty good form for the ruck. Look, Smith as well. You got some young players coming through that are generally pretty good. I thought Chesuit did some good things, mucked up some things, but looked okay. Liam Reedy was a little bit quiet, but his first sort of proper hit out at his new club after coming from interstate. They looked good. They looked alright. Like a statistical onslaught, Sydney recorded 108 disposals to just 56 Carlton disposals in the third term. Contested possessions read 40-30. Inside 50s were a thumping 24-11. And the score was 75-26. So really it was one in the third term for Sydney. They had to turn it on at one stage of the game, and they absolutely brought it in the premiership quarter. For those who don't know, the third quarter is the premiership quarter to set you up in the last quarter. That's a term that we use in Australian rules football. But yeah, Sydney just became the third VFL AFL team to have both a goalless term and at least 12 goals in a quarter in the same game. So with both occurrences happening in a high-scoring 1970s game. So going back a long, long time ago there. Just a few little stats of the games, folks. It was just one in the contest and the crunches of that. When Sydney turned it on, they did absolutely turn it on. Tom Paltby had a slow start of the game, waiting until the 20-minute mark to get into the game on the field, whilst Callum Mills also spent 18 minutes of the first term on the bench, so just easing in their stars back into the game. After Callum Mills' pre-season was pretty good. For Carlton, some of their new players, like their father's son, Harry Dean, also played quite good in defence. There was one part where he could have come across and spoiled the ball, which he'll learn those little things. I thought he was really good one-on-one. I thought he gave it a good crack. I thought, he's it's going to be a hard one for him because he's going to get outsized at the moment because he just doesn't have that size on him at this present time. Mitch McGovern probably, he's that sort of, he's still a key tool, but more of a centre-half back. Dorowski, who was not playing, I just want to see just his size. I just want to see his size. Wade Durerskin, sorry. I'm just getting up his size, folks. We just think of it on the fly because they did drop him for the game. He's 197 centimeter. While standing, hang on, we'll get his real actual height, folks. Oh, he's 194 centimeters. Or standing, see, there's a few different things here, but yeah, so some say he's 197, some say he's 194. It doesn't quite matter. It's just a tall defensive lineup. I mean, the size does matter. There's a couple of centimeters there, but essentially, yeah, he looked okay during the preseason. They probably could have played just that extra tool like that. Just a little food for thought for Carlton fans when you play against a big team. maybe just going to have to drop a small and play an extra tall, against the sides like Sydney, Adelaide, Freo. Even, Brisbane have a couple key tools. Probably not, but Sydney's key tools are very big. Amadi, McDonald, and Curnow now. So 3 of them are very good. Quick on their feet for their size. Logan McDonald, only kicked a 1. Didn't look as dangerous as Curnow or Amadi, but absolutely caused them headaches across the ground. It really was one in the clinches as well. So through the centre. And yeah, so it was a quite an interesting game early with Carlton getting up. They sort of shocked everyone a bit, getting up real early, but just couldn't sort of run out the game. Sydney got back in the game, and the scoreline basically said it how it was. They got enough ball. Obviously, Goulden looked like amazing through there. He was just running from the center or the defensive line across the half back, and he was just running, carrying all day. Sheldrick was good. Look, it was a 63-point win. Matt Roberts also kicked a couple or a goal. Looked really good. Kicked it on the snap. Isaac Heaney was quiet, but look. Justin McHenry and Logan McDonald kicked the first couple of goals. So it was like Logan McDonald did kick a goal. They were the first goals to get Sydney back into motion. I thought it just was really impressive from that aspect, and then it got Curnow into it. Brody Kemp coming back off a torn Achilles did have a few good spots there as he managed to still get a major. Look, I don't think there's much more I can add from that. Really, I think that covers the game pretty good, folks. What do I see next for these two teams? Sydney, they're going to be a force to play with. They're going to make that home ground a very much home ground advantage, a bit of a fortress. So I expect the Swans to, be very hard to beat at home. We'll see how they play away, but injuries obviously is going to be a problem for either side if they get some, especially with Carlton's depth. It's probably not as much depth. Evans has got to come back into that lineup. There's not too much missing from that lineup, like Hayes. Wiedering come back for his first game, after missing a little bit of football, so he'll get better as it carries on. So he probably struggled a little bit too from that defensive aspect. Could he have helped with another Duerski in there, and just a tool to help out. Just they're the key things for that lineup. Probably definitely when you're playing Sydney to have the tools. Carlton are a pretty fast side. I was impressed by their speed early on. Obviously, it sort of tanked towards the end of the game or after the second half. So it's something they need to work on. But ideally, that they looked still really good. I wouldn't be too disappointed, Blues fans. Sydney, I'd be very happy. I think you're going to have a good side this year. But they're the little things that teams need to learn from these 3 tools. You're going to have really sort of, as tall as you can get, key position type players on them. Otherwise, they're just going to run amok. You got to win it in the clinches in the midfield. And I thought Sydney's midfield would get on top. And once they did in the third term, they set the ascendancy and they'll win. They just hammered that goal. Like I mentioned with the inside 50s, the contested possessions, the amount of possessions, they just won it more. They ran harder. They hit their targets. They still weren't perfect, but overall, they were still really good. Carlton, when they had the opportunity, early on, they did quite good. They just ran out of steam. So there's still enough there for Carlton fans. if you can sort of snag in that late 10th spot, if you can not have any injuries and you guys can keep getting fitter and keep playing, if you can play like that first half for a 4-quarter effort, there's no doubt Carlton will be all right. That being said, I think that's a great review. It was like how we sort of said it in the opening round preview. Check it out. It's just a previous episode, number 62. Check it all out. It's got all the information. I've done pretty good in my tips so far. I was pretty close to the margin. I'm pretty happy with that. On to the next games. Enjoy the weekends, folks. Thank you.